2009 28-foot Grey Wolf travel trailer. Floor collapsed because it got a little wet. The slide leaked a little, and I get in there and I find all these problems. First of all, the floor was made with OSB, which is just garbage. The slide mounts, 2 screws, just one on each end of the brackets, one of which is only halfway screwed in. Even the couch, the 2 back screws are not even screwed in all the way. They're sticking up about 1 inch on each side. Floor's rotted out here as well. The first step was to remove the trim around the slide, and then remove the 3/8 inch ply frame that they stapled with 2 1/4 inch staples in numerous places all around. That was the next step. There's man's best friend, this particular job at least anyway. Mechanical nail puller, worked very well on the big staples. So the slide is just sitting there. The bolts, the 8 bolts underneath in both tracks have been loosened off. I've got concrete blocks outside to catch it, so the next step is to just slide the thing out so I can get at the floor underneath, because it's punky all the way along. My setup for supporting the slide when it's out. Fortunately, it's not that heavy, maybe about 400 pounds. I don't think it's over 5 anyway. So I can maneuver it by hand. I'm going to stretch a tarp over top in case it rains. One other defect that I found with this thing last year, or year before, is the roller in the center of the slide collapsed because it had 2 screws barely screwed in as well again. So it's ripped the fabric underneath the slide, so I'm going to have to patch that up. So there's another defect. Way to go, Forest River. Slide out mechanism is now exposed. The slide has cleared the side of the wall. There you can see the screw. It's not firmly been seated. These ones back here have been put in on an angle. Very poor workmanship. Okay, we've got most of the bottom frame, the 2x4 along the outside, cut it there, and took that length of it out anyway because it was all punky as well. So I'm going to take the rest of it out, pull the staples from the siding out on the bottom, peel back the siding outside a little bit. I'm going to have to remove the bed frame though, because I do want to take it back at least up to the hot water tank underneath the wood cover there. I'm going to have to remove a little more of the bed than I wanted to, but nevertheless. And I'm going to take the flooring out at least 2 feet away from the wall and put in 3/4 plywood flooring the way the idiots should have done in the first place. There you can see the siding kind of peeled back. Pulled out all the staples underneath. I just broke the bolts off that come through. Just going to put large lag screws right up into the bottom plate of the wall to hold it. But quite pleased actually the way that 2x4 is coming out of there. And I'll be able to put the new 2x4, which is right here. I got a 10-footer. They didn't go full length. They cobbled the thing together, patched it together. Which again, another stupid move, idiotic, fly-by-night outfit anyway. So I'm going to put 1 whole length along there from the inside, so that's working very well. Just going to put lag screws right up through it. I'm going to work the 2x4 out here in chunks. I did section it with a Sawzall. So it's coming out of there. Pull the rest of it out. Still part of the bolt in there yet, so I'll have to probably break it a little bit more. Got to be careful of the chintzy little fender well there, made from tin can basically. I have to drill out the wood around the bolt that bolts the wooden frame to the metal frame here. drill out the wood, and then I got to get in there with a thin cutting disc and cut the bolt off to make it easier to get out. So I'm going to drill that out right now. Got to get in there with it. Some new fiberglass insulation added, and the first sheet of fir subflooring going in the way it should have been done in the first place. There's another significant flaw in the design. There's absolutely no place for the water to run. If it ran in here into this little collection area, or little chute, whatever you want to call it. So what I did is I took a razor blade and I made a little slot in it so that if water does build up in there, it can run right through. Otherwise it's going to run, it's either going to run over here onto the floor, or it's going to run here, and there is a gap here again. Just a design flaw gap that's just not closed up properly. But anyway, as we go along, it gets better and better. There you can see some of the Verona plywood put down over the fir tongue and groove subfloor. The tiles are now going in. Put the cover on the inner fender here pretty quick. The bathroom is once again intact. The pump's screwed down in place. Bathroom's intact. Toilet's in. Tub is in. Everything's plumbed in again. So now the next step that I'm going to begin here is removing this laminated plywood beam. I'm going to put in a laminated fir beam, something that should have been done in the first place. Also discovered that the windows, the idiots that installed the windows, caulked them with what appears to be a self-leveling adhesive or caulk that ran out. Water was running in around the windows, got in the floor. All this had to be replaced as well. So that window's been done, this window's been done, and the rest of them will have to be done as well. The windows are removed, the old caulking and glue removed, and new adhesive caulking put in. Certainly not self-leveling. The laminated fir beam is installed. It's a full 5 inches wide, so it eliminated the extra 1x that the manufacturer had put in. So that'll give it a lot more strength, durability. It does stick a little bit proud here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this paneling, and I'm going to use the remaining ripped down 2x6 fir that I have left over from the laminate beam, and I'm just going to line this inside of the slide here. The slide won't extend quite as much, about 5/8 of an inch, but that's minor. It's going to make everything much stronger. See, the insulation didn't even go right up to the ceiling. There's no vapor barrier anywhere in here at all. Gaps in the insulation, everything. I mean, yeah, built for the Northwest.